What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with, I believe, episode 16 of what to buy on eBay. Right now, I've included vintage Kenner items, some vintage collection, some comics, and now some trading cards. God forbid I start getting into trading cards because that's just not another line I need, but I probably am. So I've got a couple of shout outs I need to give right now. First to Eric Kelly. He just increased his Patreon contribution. He's been a long-time supporter of the channel. Eric, thank you so much. That's way too kind to you. And also, I've got a new Patreon, Mike Chan. Mike Chan just sent me a vintage collection General Grievous as a gift. And not only that, he became a Patreon supporter. So I can't thank you enough. As always, my Patreon supporters get my videos 24 hours early. So if you're watching this, some of these items may not be available, and I'm also recording this a few days ahead of time because of my work and life schedule. So if you watch this video and the item sold, I'm sorry. I've just got kind of a crazy schedule. I try to film these the day before release to ensure that most, if not all of them, are still available for sale. But some of them may not be. So just keep that in mind. But just because I had to record this a little bit ahead of time. But anyway, thank you again to Eric and to Mike Chan. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, it's patreon.com/actionfiguregrader. That's enough talk. Let's dig into some awesome items. This is an AFA 85 Weequay, and it's got the brand new case style, and it's $110, $110 plus $7 shipping. There's 5 watchers on it right now. That's a pretty good deal. That's about as cheap as you're going to find for an AFA 85 near mint plus vintage Kenner figure. And it looks to be in pretty impeccable condition. This is the Hong Kong COO. I believe there's also a no COO, as well as the Lily Letty. Those are the big three. The no COO would appear on like the Tri-Logo cards. And of course, the Lily Letty was made down in Mexico. But this is the most common, the Hong Kong. $110 plus $7 shipping. It's a pretty good deal. Next up, I've got a Power of the Force item. I don't usually show Power of the Force items. And I'm showing this one with a little bit of trepidation. This is the freeze frame action slide Boba Fett. This is just the standard figure. There's no kind of errors on it with like circles on the this one has the circles on the hands. It's not missing the circles or has the half circles. But the freeze frame action slide version of Boba Fett came on, I know, on the Canadian card as well as this US card. There might also be a European variant. I'm not sure about that. But this is one of the more desirable variants in terms of the card backs. This is graded 85 by AFA, as you can see there, freeze frame. And the sub scores are 85, 85, 90. But looking at the photos, I don't know if it's reflection or if that blister is pulling away. If you see right in here where my cursor is, it looks like it's either pulling away again, or it could just be lighting, reflecting off of the photos. They're not great photos. Given the flash there. So just keep that in mind. You may want to ask for more photos. And for all of these items, I'm not vetting the sellers. I'm not super zooming in on things. So make sure you vet the seller, make sure it's a legitimate seller, and make sure it's, you take a look at the photos really closely. But $140 plus $18 shipping is a really good deal for an AFA 85 freeze frame action slide Boba Fett Power of the Force 2. This is one of the better mint on card Boba Fetts you can get, and that's a pretty decent price there. So keep that in mind. It's got $18 shipping though. Maybe you watch it for a little while and he makes you an offer. 125-ish would be nice. I think that would be right dead on the money for market value, but that's a really nice figure. That's one I've already got in my collection. I paid over $100 for the Canadian freeze frame action slide. It did grade 90 with CAS. But that Canadian version of this is a very, very tough one to find. It took me a long time. But the US one's a little bit easier to find. But 150, 158 after shipping is a pretty good deal, assuming that blister has not pulled away from the card back. I have a feeling that it's just reflections. But if you're into these Power of the Force figures, that's one to definitely look at. It's a nice looking figure. Next up, I've got a trading card. This is the Star Wars Living Set from 2021. This is a Gem Mint 10. This seller has 10 still available. 10 of these. 3 of them have sold. It's $59.75 free shipping, and there's 7 watchers on it. That's a really good deal for a Gem Mint 10. And I love this Tusken Raider. The only Star Wars Living Set, actually the only PSA card that I have, period, is the Mandalorian. But this is one that I would definitely pick up. I like that one a lot. It really harkens back to some of the cool scenes, the flashback scenes from the book of Boba Fett. It also harkens back to the original 1977 Topps run. I just love these card backs. It's just for a modern card like this to get for a gem mint, it's not particularly difficult to do just because they're so new. But you can't beat the price. I'm sorry. It costs $30 right now to grade a card with PSA, and you're getting it for about $60 shipped in Gem Mint 10. That's not a bad deal, and I might buy one myself, quite honestly. $60 is pretty fair. I paid $68 for my PSA 10 Mandalorian, so it goes a little bit more just because it's the Mandalorian. It's not nearly as expensive. The most expensive ones in the series are like Ahsoka, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Sabine Wren, Darth Vader, Boba Fett. Those are the big five in terms of the most expensive off the top of my head. And some of these other kind of secondary characters could be had for relatively inexpensive, given the grading costs is $30 plus shipping to and from PSA. So pretty good price on that one. This is a great price, and I'm really tempted to buy this. I really am. I don't have any money right now, but I'm very tempted to buy this. This one has two watchers. I'm not watching it right now, but this is the U.S. card for Darth Malgus, the Vintage Collection Darth Malgus. I've got the Canadian version. I'd love to have this U.S. card to go with it. And this one is pretty clean, pretty darn clean based on the photos. $75 plus $8.50 shipping. It's sold for well higher than that in auctions. So I expect this one to sell. And Darth Malgus is awesome. I read the book here recently. I think it's called Deceived. It's an older book from the expanded universe that I read, and it was great. And this card back is one of the best within the vintage collection, but I want to buy this so bad, but I'm not going to do it. It's unpunched and in just gorgeous condition. $75 plus $8.50 plus it's make an offer. There's two watchers on it. I would pick that up right now. Next up, I've got a High Republic book. I know you guys, most of you are sick of the High Republic, but if you're going to get any High Republic books, now's the time to do it. This one is at auction right now with 4 days left, and I bet it sells for close to this. It's got 7 watchers right now. This is the High Republic #2, the first full appearance of the main villain within the High Republic universe, Marchion Ro. And it's also the first appearance of Lula Taliasola, who's a Jedi within the High Republic. This is at $50 starting bid. There's no offers on it yet, or no bids on it yet. It is $20 shipping, unfortunately, because it's coming from Canada. But there's 7 watchers. I bet it sells for pretty close to that starting bid price. It's going for anywhere from kind of on the very low end, $60, not including shipping, up to about $75 or $80. This book hit like 125, maybe 100, maybe even 150. I know the 1-in-10 ratio variant hit over $200, and like I've talked about in recent videos, and I've got another one coming tomorrow, prices for Star Wars books have absolutely cratered because we're in a dead spot right now. The Andor series is not coming out for probably another 2 weeks or so. Now's a good time to pick up some of these books. The Acolyte series is coming to Disney Plus. That's set in the High Republic universe. Who knows what characters they focus on? I'm sure it's going to be a mix of old characters like Yoda, but also some newer characters. And this is one of the key books, and it's cheap as dirt right now. So I would, if this one still has a pretty low price when the auction ends, I would definitely try to pick that one up. If you're impatient and you want to buy it now, this one's $75 plus $12.66 shipping. This is in California, but this is probably at the very upper end of what I'd pay right now. At an auction, you can probably get it in the 60s. So, but if you want to buy it now, situation, it's also a make an offer on this one. But that's a pretty good price though for High Republic Adventures issue number 2, which is the first full appearance of Marchion Ro. Next up, I've got another trading card. This is Heroes in Disguise from the Topps 1983 Return of the Jedi series. This shows Lando in his skiff guard disguise, as well as Leia in her Bush outfit. This is a mint PSA 9, and it's $44.83 with $4 shipping. You cannot beat that price. There's 7 watchers on it, and it's making an offer right now. And there's not a lot of wiggle room because it's already at $45. It costs $30 to grade them, so it's not like you're paying a big money price even at the list price. But that's one I'd look at, and that's a pretty good price in my opinion. Next up, I've got another vintage collection. This is an Unpunched ObiWan with the Darth Maul offer. This is the US card back. It looks pretty clean overall, maybe just a little bit of wave to the card, as you can see on the bottom of the card there. Here's the back of it, VC76, and it looks like it's got a little bit of kind of damage down there in the lower right-hand corner by the UPC code, so keep that in mind. But not a terrible price. It's in Australia, though, so this is really geared towards my Australian viewers. Shout out to you guys. This is 84 bucks US or 125 Australian. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. One watcher on it right now, but I think maybe, you know, I don't know how bad that damage is. You might want to ask the seller to give you some close-ups of that UPC code area on the back of the card, but otherwise pretty clean for the US card back. Next up, I've got another trading card. This is a PSA 9 mint, the Rancor Pit. And this is again from what I've found is that the 1983 cards in a PSA 9 are very inexpensive. 49 bucks, 470. It shows Luke trying to get out of Jabba's Rancor Pit. That's a pretty iconic moment within the Return of the Jedi. And again, it's a PSA 9. And what I've found is that PSA 9s for the 1983 run of the Topps series are really inexpensive. When you get to the PSA 10 Gem Mint, that's when you got to start paying multiples. It's kind of like with AFA 85s versus AFA 90s. You know how you go from 85 to a 90 and it's like a multiple? It's the same thing going from a 9 to a 10 for the 1983 or any of the earlier vintage Topps cards. This one in a PSA 10 is probably like 150 bucks. So to get a PSA 9, that's still a mint card, and this is like a 1983 card. This is a great deal in my mind. 49 bucks plus 470 shipping. I mean, I would buy 20 of these all day long if I had any money, but I just don't have any money right now. But that's a good deal. Next up, I've got Thrawn #1. This is another book I'm going to cover in more detail in a video tomorrow, Tuesday. And this one, I think, is not a terrible deal. It's $189.99, $10 shipping. In an auction, you can get it for cheaper. There's no doubt about that. You probably can get it for 160-ish, maybe even 170. But maybe you watch this one like I did and just see what happens. Maybe he throws you an offer for 160. If he threw me an offer for 160 and I didn't have it, I would buy it. I would absolutely buy it. This is Thrawn's origin story that kind of ties into the Timothy Zahn novels. And it's a great cover. It shows when he was kind of desolate and kind of isolated on this planet by himself. And then the stormtroopers find him and he kind of infiltrates the ship and goes back to a base, and he eventually meets Emperor Palpatine. Spoiler alert. I just think it's an awesome book and has a lot of potential with the Ahsoka series and his inevitable appearance within the Disney Plus series. Next up, I've got a vintage Kenner ESB Princess Leia in her Bespin gown. This is AFA 80, clear blister with an archival case, 80, 85, 85. This is the 32 back B. What an absolute gem. Unpunched, no price sticker. It's listed for $11.50. There's 6 watchers on it right now, 7 watchers now, and it's also make an offer. So to me, this is not that far off from market value in my mind. This is pretty close to market value for an absolutely stunning Leia in her Bespin gown. If I didn't just already fairly recently go on a bender for vintage mint on card figures, I would buy one. I just don't have the cash right now, but this is absolutely stunning. And I think it may not even be here by the time the video airs, in which case I apologize, but you at least get to look at this absolute stunner. I mean, look how beautiful this card back is. This is a AFA 85 Nikto. This is the older style case, but it's listed for $165 with free shipping. So AFA 85 Nikto, really nice example, and there's 8 watchers on this one, so it can't be too far off of market value. Maybe you put it on your watch list and see if he comes down to 150. 150 to me with the old case style is probably about market value. But right now it's at 165. I'd put it on your watch list and see if he makes you an offer if it sits for a little bit longer. Next up, I've got a Mandalorian comic. This is Mandalorian #1. This is the Clayton Crane variant that everyone seems to be going nuts for. I just received an offer from this seller, as you can see up here in the blue box, for 75 bucks. Plus 1070 shipping. That's about where it's going for in auctions. I don't personally like this cover that much, but it's not a bad cover. It's the first full appearance, or the first interior comic book appearance of the Mandalorian, as well as the first cameo appearance of Grogu, and they're both on the cover. To me, it's not my favorite cover. There's so many covers to choose from, but Clayton Crane does have a following, and this book does tend to do well. And I'm going to cover this one in more detail in a video tomorrow. But that's not a terrible price. If you put it on your watch list, you might get the same offer I got, which was for $75 plus shipping. Next up, I've got a Lobot. This is an AFA 85 Hong Kong, as you can see, loose graded. Brand new case style. This is $175 plus $16 shipping. Again, this is a case where I'd probably put it on my watch list and see if it comes down to, 150, 160. Lobot's kind of tough to get in a high grade because that torso discolors pretty easily. I've already got this one in a CAS 85, but if I didn't, I would certainly be looking at this one. It might be just a tad high, just a little bit high, Next up, this is a really interesting one, and if I had any money, I would be really tempted. This is make an offer. There's 6 watchers. This is a PSA 9 mint La Guerre des Étoiles Canadian cello pack. So this has Luke and Yoda doing the Dagobah training inside of a factory sealed, cellophane pack. And here's the back of the card there. It's a pack, so it's got multiple cards in it. So this one has C-3PO and R2 on the back, but this is the multiple language. It's got English and French because this was sold in Canada. So to get a kind of mint 9 for a kind of factory sealed multi-pack of cards, that's a pretty interesting item to me. It's a foreign item. Again, it's high. It's $400, but there are 6 watchers, and it's also make an offer. And another thing I want to say is that a lot of items I've noticed when I start watching them that are kind of higher on the price point for these PSA cards is that they end up making me an offer that's ridiculously off of the list price. To me, if you're going to make an offer for like 40 or 50% off the list price, just list it for 40 or 50% less, and it would sell immediately. So I don't know why it seems like with the trading cards, the PSA trading cards, that seems to be the case though. So maybe you make him a low offer, maybe you offer him 250 or 300 and just see what he does. But a PSA 9 Canadian multi-pack that's graded like that, that's a pretty nice item to have. La Guerre des Étoiles with Luke on the front there. That just really presents nicely and is a nice foreign trading card. Next up, I've got the 1 in 25 Mandalorian David Aja variant cover. This is one I still want. I've got the 1 in 10 and I've got the 1 in 50, but I still don't have this one yet. I did buy this one for my brother for his birthday, but this one's listed for $120 plus $16.95 shipping. There's 11 watchers on it right now, and this is not too far off of where it's selling for at auction, 110-ish, 115. So again, maybe you make an offer and see if it comes off 10 or 15 bucks, but this is the 1 in 25. So for every 25 of the standard cover A of the Mandalorian #1, only one of these was printed. So they're necessarily going to be in a lower 9.8 population, although I still think they're going to be pretty high, just because so many people have speculated on this book. So, but this is one of my favorite covers. I would say that the 1 in 25 and the 1 in 50 covers are pretty iconic, much better than the cover A in my opinion. But what an awesome cover. So I've got to add this one to my collection sooner rather than later. I'm probably just going to pick it up at an auction, but if you're too impatient and you don't want to wait for an auction, $120 plus $16.95 shipping. Clearly the market says that's pretty close to market value since there's 11 watchers on it right now. Next up, I've got an AFA 85 Royal Guard. This is the Taiwan COO. Really nice example. This is the brand new case style from AFA. This one's listed for $170 plus $5.99 shipping, and there's 10 watchers on it, so it's not too far off. Really nice example. And this is also, I think that the Taiwan is a little bit, it seems like to me, it's easier to find than the Hong Kong. It seems like the Hong Kong and the no COO are the toughest to find. The Taiwan is the easiest to find since they came on most of the later kind of Return of the Jedi card backs. But that's a really nice example. Really nice tall case with a kind of a recessed case for the Force Pike. Next up, I've got a Gem Mint PSA 10 Star Wars Living card. Again, this is for Grogu. Really nice one. And he's got 2 available. This one's listed for $70.99 plus $4.80 shipping. 9 watchers on that one. At auction, these sell for about between 60 and 70. So this one's listed for $71. So just a little bit above where it sells for in an auction. Not a bad deal. And Grogu is just kind of a nice card back to have. So there you go. And then finally, I've got an UKG 85% Hong Kong Biker Scout. I might have talked about this one before. If I haven't, I apologize. But this has got the nice brand new UKG case with the recessed case style for his blaster pistol. Straight 85s for the sub score. It's listed for 160 pounds, but it's make an offer, which equates to about 183 US dollars. It's got 14 watchers right now. If I'm in the UK and I can afford the lower shipping, because you know the global shipping program, it's like another $31 on top of that. So it's kind of cost prohibitive just from a shipping perspective for those of us in the US. But for those of you watching this in the UK, that's a pretty good deal. That's a really nice looking figure. Anyway, that's all I really had for this video. If you see something you like and you pick it up, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.